My day started with adequate time to accomplish my plans. How unusual. It would begin with 5 hours of driving from southeast Ohio to north central Indiana, where I'm dropping off these items. I've never transported an entire elevator in pieces before, but it seems kind of fragile, so I check it and make small adjustments along the way. At about 4:30 p.m. I arrive at the drop-off location. The canoe, kayaks, paddleboard, and the sauna are items that I've previously dropped off to this customer. He's not there himself, but he told me that the guys who are doing his concrete work should be there any minute and able to help me with unloading some of the heavy items. So I start by breaking free and unloading some of the smaller pieces of the elevator first. It feels a little bit strange to say this when thinking about how unique and somewhat involved and complicated this item is, but all in all, it was really a pretty easy item to carry. Unloading always goes much faster than loading, of course, and after 10 or 15 minutes, I was done removing things from the bed and cab of the truck and ready to start getting everything off of the trailer. Based on the weight of the Peloton when a helpful gym member assisted me with loading it, I was not looking forward to getting that off the trailer, but everything else seemed like it would really be not too big of a deal. The wind was a little bit challenging to deal with, especially when moving these doors, and it was a little bit cold and felt like it might rain, but overall, knowing that I had plenty of time to do this job and get back home made the job just seem pretty chill. I also did myself the huge favor of going into this job extremely well prepared. I have floor dollies, I have a hand truck, I have ramps, I have literally anything I could possibly need to move these items and more. The next piece is extremely heavy, and I don't think that I will need to use ramps, nor do I want to. This I would guess at about 300 pounds. My plan is to simply tip it gently off of the trailer using just the right amount of leverage so that I never have to take the full weight of the item and so that it doesn't slide down in any sort of uncontrolled manner. The process went basically exactly as I had planned, and although I think that one dolly would have been adequate to bring it into the garage, I went ahead and added a second just for the safety of the item. Next up is the Peloton, and despite the 0% chance of rain forecasted as of late last night, it is starting to sprinkle, and I sense that the rain will become heavier, so there is an added imperative to get this off quickly, yet still safely. To my surprise, the process starts with the item sliding off relatively easy and without me feeling like I'm holding too much weight on the front end. Now the question is whether I can safely remove the back end from the trailer without allowing the Peloton to tip or fall. This is definitely a job I'd feel more comfortable with having a second person, just again mostly for the safety of the item, but I have found it surprisingly easy and fast to remove it from the trailer. The trickiest part actually proves to be getting the elliptical to go on and stay on the dollies so that I can move it into the garage, but even this part goes relatively quickly. Long story short, for this version of the video, my quote for this job, the Peloton specifically, was $150. It was almost not at all out of my way on the drive down to North Carolina, and I was already going to that location for the drop-off. I'd rather get an extra $150 than nothing at all, and I figured that was about the most the customer would agree to. But at the end of the day, I am realizing that I need to charge not so much for my time, but for my ability. True, it only took me 5 minutes to unload the Peloton and get it into the garage, but the fact is that most people probably simply couldn't have done it, and I did enable my customer to make a purchase of a high-end piece of exercise equipment in North Carolina and have it delivered to his door in Michigan. I'm not complaining, but it's just something I need to think about for the future when valuing my own work. As I got close to this delivery, I remembered that getting out of here required backing up. Not just backing up a little bit, but backing up maybe half a mile from his house at the very end of the drive to the first intersection where I could actually turn around. I actually ended up backing right past that intersection, and then I saw it as I went by, pulled forward and backed in again. Then I saw that someone was coming down the road from that direction. I went ahead and took up the whole space. I didn't need him trying to go around me on the right or something when it was only going to take 3 more seconds to be done. I checked Roadie, and sure enough, there was a Tractor Supply gig going straight from where I was in my direction for $64 or something. It seemed worth making an easy stop. Trailer required, sure, that will be okay. I went ahead and hit the navigate button just for the video, but I'm already a step ahead. I took the turn off in anticipation of getting the job. Hopefully the job goes smoothly. I run into a former roadie driver in the store who reminds me that they don't always.
I wasn't getting my money. They kept on saying I was getting money deposited in my account, but nothing was showing up.
Yeah, and half the time you show up and something isn't right.
Darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again.
Nothing was terrible about the pickup, but Tractor Supply had put everything onto a pallet that was not secured whatsoever. Nothing was secured to the pallet, so obviously that wasn't going to work, and I instead moved everything into the bed of the pickup truck, which was the easiest way to secure it. So maybe the temperature is dropping and it's rainy and there's a bunch of extra work to do to get this job done, but I'm in great spirits. I am going to get home at a reasonable time. It's still daylight. I don't have to rush anything, and all of the extra work really feels like a whole lot of me getting paid to exercise. There was about 30 minutes of driving involved in this job, but in reality probably no more than 10 additional minutes from what I would have been doing anyways on my way home. As for the work outside in the cold and the rain, that's living. That's what makes you feel alive. I wish that I worked with people more often in this job, but other than that, There's not a whole lot I'd rather be doing than lifting some logs and throwing them on a pile.